Gone are the days of hope and joy from the Kamala Harris campaign. We've come a long way since the DNC convention when everyone was just ecstatic and elated that Kamala Harris had taken over the reins, except for one person. Joe Biden? Is he possibly sabotaging the Kamala Harris campaign? Well, whether he's doing it on purpose or not, it's happening. As we're going to see in today's clips, Joe Biden has the ability to F anything up, just like Obama said. So before we get to these clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
From Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and beyond, including, yes, Puerto Rico. I'd like to take that guy for a swim out there. Anyway. Stenny's looking at me, don't get going, Joe. Don't get going, Joe. Slow up.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
So yes, Barack Obama doesn't understand how in the world did we get so toxic? Why are we so divided in this nation? Could it have anything to do with maybe Joe Biden saying he wants to take Donald Trump out and drown him in a river? Could it have anything to do with Joe Biden saying that, hey, if you support Donald Trump, you are garbage? Could it have anything to do with saying maybe Donald Trump is a fascist and Hitler and he just had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden? I wonder why we are so divided in this country. But of course, what's actually happening here, a lot of people are calling that Joe Biden moment his Hillary moment, right? His deplorable moment. If you recall back in 2016, Hillary came out and said, I think of all of Donald Trump supporters as basically being in this big basket of deplorables, and they're irredeemable. But here we are, Joe Biden today saying, Hillary, hold my beer, you're all garbage. And I love how this is happening right at the end of the campaign. Kamala Harris is turning really negative, and Joe Biden is apparently just piling on, right? No more message of positivity, no more message for a way forward for America. Nope, it's just attack Trump over and over and over again, and that is how you know they are panicked, they are losing this fight, and Donald Trump is, of course, surging up. Now, some outlets, of course, have tried to spin this. As we can see over here in a tweet from Politico, a comedian who appeared ahead of Trump at Madison Square Garden in New York City on Sunday called the American territory an island of garbage. Biden, in a Zoom call with the organization Voto Latino, said the only garbage was the hatred of Trump supporters who said such things about American citizens. Our diversity is our strength, said Biden, who also blasted Trump's proposal to deport migrants, many of whom are Latino. All right, so there's the spin. Joe Biden wasn't talking about Donald Trump supporters. He was talking about the comments Donald Trump had made. All right, those are what's garbage, right? Yeah, we all heard the video, and we're going to hear it several more times in a little bit because all the pundits are weighing in on this as well.
Given that, I want you to listen to something that is making the rounds right now, certainly by the Trump campaign, by Senator J.D. Vance and others, what President Biden had to say about this tonight.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of things is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Governor, first off, just what's your response to that comment from President Biden, where it sounds like he's calling Trump supporters there garbage?
Yeah, look, I had not heard that until now, Kaitlin, so I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to it. I would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support. I think the real issue here is Donald Trump and his inability to simply say comments like that are wrong, to simply stand up for his fellow Americans. He is incapable of doing that. When he had the keys to the White House, before he didn't do it, he separated people out, he divided people, he's promised more of the same. And that's why I think he's dangerous. And that's why I'm working as hard as I can to support Kamala Harris and do everything we can to defeat Donald Trump again in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and the White House is trying to say that what President Biden was saying, they're putting an apostrophe there in supporters, saying it's the singular, I guess referring to the comedian, that supporters comments. I mean, it's hard to really look at that when you can listen to it for yourself. But do you think the president needs to come out and clarify that comment?
Well, I think President Biden will decide what he wants to say. It's certainly not words that I would choose, and I think it's important that we remain focused on the contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and not attacking supporters of either candidate.
So even CNN and Kaitlin Collins aren't buying that excuse from the White House. Yeah, Joe Biden was totally talking about that one guy who made that one joke at that one rally, right? There's no way he would talk about half of America that way. And I love how Josh Shapiro's kind of blindsided by this, saying, oh yeah, this is the first time hearing about that. There's no way myself, as a competent politician, would ever say something like that on camera, on video to half of America. But of course, that's who Joe Biden is, and that's why he was replaced. But the fun just doesn't stop here.
Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Yeah, let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave.
Yeah.
Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true. Bakari already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
no, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that.
So the gentleman in the dreadlocks there apparently doesn't understand that Joe Biden is such a detriment to the Kamala Harris campaign that they have to keep him hidden away. There's no way they want him out there giving speeches and talking because this exact same thing would happen every single time. Oh, and his best use is out there eating ice cream on television. That's all Joe Biden's good at, apparently. But I love the way we get some pushback. Yeah, we all know exactly how the Democrats feel about Donald Trump and his supporters because they say it on a daily basis, right? Maybe not these reporter pundits on these roundtable issues, but look at Rachel Maddow, look at The View, right? They are all the ones out there bashing Donald Trump and his supporters every single day, okay? This is not hidden. This is not a secret. Joe Biden just was unfortunate to be saying this on tape live in front of everyone, okay? And also, don't forget, at the very same moment that Joe Biden is giving these comments, Kamala Harris is out there in the National Mall giving her speech, her closing argument as to why she should be president, which is mostly just attacks on Donald Trump.
We know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
Now, if you listen carefully in the background there were sirens going off because there were a huge amount of anti-Kamala Harris pro-Palestinian protesters because, as we know, she is not left enough for the radicals, okay? Of course, also, it could have just been normal police response because D.C. is a crap hole, apparently, at this point. But one more thing I do want to point out, Kamala Harris standing here giving this speech is actually in the approximately same location as the KKK marching in the National Mall back in 1924, all right? Now, if I was a leftist pundit or Democrat, Democrat, I'd be making all types of connections between the KKK and, of course, Kamala Harris and her supporters. But I'm not. I'm a conservative. And the only thing I'll say is there actually is a history of the Democrat Party and the KKK. And we all know what that is. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.